Hey, this is Tanya. Welcome to Girl Call Me, the podcast for, by, and about Black women. We hope you enjoy today's conversation as we chat about all things health, relationships, and life. We'll have you laughing, testifying, and most importantly, feeling seen and whole as the beautiful Black woman you are. Now on to the nonsense. Hey, Jessica. Hey, girl. How are you doing?
Well, you clearly, in your after birthday glow,
Mm-hmm.
are doing well.
I'm doing very well. First, I want to say welcome, everyone. Welcome to our listeners. Continue to appreciate everyone who comes and listens to our episode. But you know what I'm really excited about?
Virgo season?
I'm ready to pass the torch to you and all the other Virgos and say, welcome and happy birthday.
Thank you. By the numbers, it is the most popular time of year for birthdays, Virgo
Interesting.
season. You know
And
why? Count back 9 months, Christmas, New Year's,
right. There
Virgo
you
season.
go. Right.
9 months
These are
later.
that's it, fall in love. But what I wanna say is that I had a very fabulous birthday celebration. I actually had a little respite on the beach. But while I was on the beach, do you know what I was also doing?
You just said you were resting, but I have a feeling you were not because you stayed texting me about the DNC.
Right, because guess what? Kamala
Whoa.
Harris got on stage on my birthday and knocked it
Look,
out of the park.
look, she came with it. She
Mm.
came with it.
They tried
I'm
her, they doubted her, they
They
questioned
did.
her, and she said, "What we always do, we showed them." She showed them.
She did, and she brought quite a few friends along with her to show out. I mean, even Oprah, she needed to have the Kamala Harris.
"You get a car." Everyone got, "You get to vote.
Y
You get to vote."
you Kamala. Um,
Mm.
yes, what a show indeed, even though Beyoncé didn't come out,
You
which
know what? We're gonna
Tanya
let's
got me to tune in.
no,
I tuned in for
it
this
wasn't
is what I
me.
tuned in for:
What?
Barack, Michelle, Kamala, and then Beyoncé,
That's awkward
and I didn't
because
get my Beyoncé.
Kamala was during the same time. So,
I said
technically,
Kamala, I tuned in for
you
I wasn't watching I'm not watching all that pomp and circumstance and
I watched
I just
everything.
tuned in just for the actual speeches.
Well, I tuned in the roll call. Let's just start with Little John and the roll
Yes,
call and
yes.
DJ Cassidy. I will say, I mean, as I've told several people, I also watched the RNC, not in its entirety, but I watched what I could stomach. Because
That's why you needed a vacation and a respite,
I
is you put that poison in your body.
think it's important to know what's on the other side.
Is
But
it? It's
I,
if you already know it's hate toward
hate,
you, that's enough.
hate and
Mhm.
racism, and tyranny. But what I was proud of the diversity. I was proud of, everyone just really coming with that joy. I think there's been a lot written and spoken about Kamala and how joyful she is and how joyful she comes in her laugh. And I think it was just literally, I don't know how they were able to put that in a convention for 4 days, but I felt all the joy.
Yeah, it was joyful. I think it's what the country needs, and I think that the people who are pretending that they don't need joy right now have bigger problems and are holding on to something, generations of things
Mm.
that's not working out for them. And
That
they're looking
mhm.
backward, they're not looking forward, and I think that that's what I appreciated of the DNC is, like, talking about where we're going. I just I think in anything, like, looking backwards is not Like, that is not inspiring.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how good we all had it 39 years ago. Like, why? Like, and maybe that is a place, maybe I'm being narrow-minded about that, and there are certain people who feel left behind, and so, like,
Yeah, there
I
are.
I can get with it, but I just don't know how you're someone who's looking back and, like, "It used to be so great." Like, what? You heard Bill Clinton, he said, "There's been more jobs, 50
Mm,
million jobs since the Cold War." He said
51.
did he say 51,000,000? That's right, he said
Yeah.
51,000,000 jobs created, 50,000,000 of them by Democrats, and they're
That
still
was
looking
crazy.
backward.
That was one crazy stat, and he was like, "You can fact check me." And I was like
Right.
and everyone did. And
Yeah.
everyone realized that there's been 7 equal amount of presidents. 50,000,000 jobs have been created by the Democratic presidents, and 1,000,000? I mean, how
But
is that come
this is
on.
what I don't get. How do people vote against their best interest? I get that if you're someone who doesn't care about jobs being created because you got generational wealth and like you're not worried about losing your job because you own all the companies. But if you're someone who's sitting here saying it's been a struggle for you, you're looking for a president to help you out. What would make you what stat is making you think that the orange invasion is gonna be able to get that for you? Doesn't
I
make any
think that's
sense.
I think that's the difference. I think you're saying what stat. They're not thinking about a stat.
Yeah,
What they're
right.
thinking about, because no, they are not looking at stats. What they are thinking about
And don't
is
don't call people deplorables, Hillary.
just call me Hillary. Caftans unite. But, what they're looking at is what their husbands told them, what their
Mm,
granddaddy said. They're also looking at what they feel or what some maybe a Fox News or the wrong news media is telling them. They're not educating themselves. They're not looking and saying, "Let's think about this." They're thinking about that was it that $1,500 stimulus check that they thought they got when you add it up 4
girl,
years ago, that's like 75 cents a day. I don't know.
girl,
Girl, that's
that
not yes.
that and cash for clunkers and Bush, that's all somehow these
Did you
people
say
are like,
contract clunkers?
Remember that? Remember they're like, "Bush gave us money for our old cars." It's like, "Okay,
Girl, I don't
I
I
can't."
first of all,
If
you
you
went
guys
really
are
way you
willing,
went back. You went back.
girl,
I don't
you
remember
could
that.
buy their votes for $1,500. That's sad. $1,500, and now I'm voting for you for a lifetime? Can't do it.
Right. No. So,
Can't do it.
yeah, I mean, I will want there is one speech that took me and knocked me off
At the
my
RNC?
no, I'm talking about the DS we're moved on.
Oh.
Remember,
Oh,
we're
you
going
moved on.
forward.
You were
We're
just
going
what do they call that? Virtue signaling. You're like, "Listen, everyone, I watched the RNC. Not gonna talk about it, but I watched it."
right, that's it. There's nothing else to say. But when our forever first lady said,
Mm.
"When they go low, we go high." We have all been waiting for her to update that. And now with this speech, she came for his neck. And my favorite quote, okay,
She said, "We'll never benefit from affirmative action of generational wealth. If we bankrupt a business or choke in a crisis, we don't get a second, third, or fourth chance. If things don't go our way, we don't have the luxury of whining or cheating others to get further ahead. No, we don't get to change the rules, so we always win. If we see a mountain in front of us, we don't expect there to be an escalator waiting to take us to the top. We put our
yes,
heads down, we get to work."
that listen,
That's
and
stupid. You know what, though? It reminded me of that stupid Escalade. Remember when he was in
that's
that
what she was
Escalade?
talking about.
No, I know, but I had blacked it out of my memory.
That's when he announced it. It
Oh,
all started right.
so it
It all
all
started there.
started there. She
There's
should have
so
said
much.
when you come down the mountain, he came down the escalator and everything collapsed with him. He came right to the bottom and
Right,
it just
right. Well, that's the point. Everything didn't collapse with him, right? Because well, we did get, that's next episode. But but I will say her her speech brought me a lot of joy. Listen, Barack, we love him. He could have been at the next day, which is fine. But,
No,
but
I
that's
don't think so. No, I don't think so. I think if
I think he
anything
outshone I listen, I think
oh,
he was much
I
better.
don't
I
think
think
he
he
did
was
at
much
all.
better.
No way. First of all, he's the past president of the United States. If you're even comparing him to a woman who's never been in public service and they're neck and neck, that means she way outshined him. I think what it actually did by them putting him after her too was like, look, please look at women. Like, please
Right,
look at women holding up all of this. Like, he can come on. Yes, he's the president. We know we got to have him. But, like, Imma let you see what a woman can do first, who's never even held a position. She's one of the best
right,
orators of our time.
right, and we want and that was my point. Where were you going? That is exactly what I said, that
Girl,
we
my
didn't
point
need
is
him.
saying I'm saying what it did was it underscored
You
how critically important, like, how the voice of the woman is up there with men. It showed we don't need to
right.
space them out so that people say,
That's
"Okay,
true.
give her
That's
space."
true.
No. They
Okay,
said, "Look,
okay.
put them together. You're not gonna
Put it
outshine her.
together. Put it together.
You're not gonna outshine her."
I'm sure there's a conversation in that household before he goes, "Okay, baby, go try it. Try it,"
Now
and
look,
she did.
'cause that you have the 2 of them, the Democratic Party, you have the 2 of them. You have Jill Biden, Doctor Joe Biden,
Mhm.
and Joe Biden. You have Hillary Clinton
Mm, right,
and President Clinton. I mean, they're like, "Look, we got this." Like, we don't
right,
we're not having men outshine us and the women are just sitting there in the crowd applauding. No, we'll go head to head.
right.
This is no
These are
problem.
right. Someone said that this is an example of all these men who married well. They married up.
Now you now you did because you didn't see Stedman.
Let's move on. Anyway, all of this, and all of this was great. Like I said, the DNC, her speech was exactly what we all needed to, I think, what some people needed, but what we already knew.
I bought a
And
shirt. I bought a shirt afterward.
did we, you buy, did you buy a shirt, a hat,
I
a
bought a
sweater?
Kamala shirt. I went to the website and then immediately pushed stop when they texted me for a follow-up. I said, "Stop, girl. You got me."
First of all, I needed you to buy a shirt before the speech, but that's
I
fine. We're
had
going to keep
one.
moving.
I already had a shirt. I went for a double. I went in, I got the
I'm
one with
glad,
her
glad.
college photo, I think it was, right? Or her
Oh,
high
that's a
school
cute
photo,
one.
one of
That's a
those.
good one.
Yeah, it's a cute
But,
one.
what I wanted to say is it was really funny to me the amount of people that felt that they needed Beyonce. There were so many angry Bayhive folks because they were like, I know that why were we lied to? Nobody lied to you. The point I was saying is that we didn't need Bay. This was not appropriate for Bay to come on. This is not what we need. We didn't need her entertainment. What we needed was to hear Kamala Harris, our next president, speak, drop her mic, and leave. We didn't need entertainment. We didn't need girls. We didn't need any of that showmanship because we had
I hear you say "we,"
had
but I
Kamala.
just know that I'm not in that "we." You're not
What?
speaking from
Okay.
speaking for me.
Well, okay. I'm
No,
speaking
look.
for me. I'm speaking for me, and I'm
Exactly.
actually speaking for you because
No,
I actually
you're
think you
not
didn't
speaking
need
for
it either.
me.
You
And
didn't
I
need it
needed
either.
it. Girl, at the beginning of Virgo season, what'd I say? Come on. I look, again, I didn't need anything from her speech. She coulda come out there and looked at the camera and been like, "Y'all, I didn't sleep well last night.
No,
Imma
she
just"
couldn't.
and I would have been okay. I'm
It's not
talking
about you.
about the other people. It's exactly right. That's
Right.
why we needed
Right.
Beyonce. Girl, Beyonce and Taylor Swift, all these people on the like, all these kids who don't know anything, that's all I needed. I was looking out for the younger generation, okay? Look, I'm not I think it would have been nice. I think it's still going to happen. I think there's going to be some concerts happening. I heard Taylor Swift put the voting booths or voter registration at all her concerts, which I think is very good. Eh, look,
I think what Taylor needs to do is fix her best friend Brittany Mahoney and make sure that she's not riding with Trump supporters, but we'll move on
oh,
from that.
girl, they're in Kansas City. This is what I'm talking about. This is why there needs to be this is why like you said, some people don't vote based on stats. And so if we think that
Right.
pop culture is not gonna move some of these people, it's going to. There's a whole
Mm.
bunch of people
Let's
that
yes,
we
you
gotta
know
read
what?
on pop culture.
And I will say that would have been appropriate at maybe the 6 o'clock hour, but by the time we were getting to the main event, I needed her
It's
to
6
not be
o'clock.
out
Girl,
sh
Beyonce ain't never performed at a 6 o'clock hour.
And listen, I like I said,
That was reserved
she
for Pink,
to me, let's leave
which
Pink alone and
I
her
coulda gone
daughter.
without that.
Let's leave Pink alone with her daughter. I thought it was a beautiful it was about women empowerment. I thought it was good.
I
Look,
thought women empowerment sounded like it was about a breakup. What song is that?
I don't
I was like,
remember
"Why
that.
did we choose this?"
I think as Pink described it, it was about empowerment. That was what the point of the song was about.
Okay, it missed me, but
Because
look.
they came for her neck. They came for her
Oh,
neck.
did they?
Yes, they did.
I
Whoever they
just
are,
it
they came for her neck.
it
She
missed me.
said she said, "The haters can go." She said, "I don't need the haters. Haters can leave." But, this funny thing is the point of this whole conversation was for us to talk about Black joy.
Girl, I was joyful. Look, I in terms of Black joy, because we have been so fortunate to have a president in Barack Obama in the
Yeah,
past. I think sometimes we took for granted that feeling of being able to look up at someone who is about to you could have the potential to run our country and see someone who looks like us and the joy that you feel by just seeing them. I mean, it's like inclusion on steroids. I mean, even the fact that she's our vice president, I think we take for granted sometimes because the vice president
every
is
day we
just
take that
so
for granted.
often, all
Right,
vice presidents are so often in the
right.
background and you kind of don't see them, whatever. So the fact that she's up there talking,
Yeah,
it just reinvigorated and to have the other women that she had speak, I mean, thank you to the men, but to have the other women she had speak, it's just like to see Stacey Abrams out there working it again and see and
yeah,
hearing her at like it's just it's a whole new sense of pride that we
yeah.
have that's been dimmed for a damn near 10 years now, it feels like. Not 10,
Yeah,
I
it's
guess, what, 8
interesting. I
years?
don't think I don't think I recognized how lack of joy I felt in thinking about politics. I have not
Oh,
been
yeah.
this involved. I haven't been this excited or involved. I signed up to canvas, to make phone calls, I mean, I didn't do any of that. I mean, I think the last time I did that was for President Obama. That
Obama,
was
yeah, that's what I
that was
yeah,
it. That was it.
mhm.
And I think about the my favorite picture that came out of this. There's many great photos, but my favorite picture was of Kamala's grandniece sitting and looking up at her, and it was taken Todd Hessler took the photo, and he is gonna win every prize for this. I mean, any sort of prize that comes out, he's gonna win it because it was a beautiful photo that just captured what we're talking about. Because as young girls are looking at their TV and saw this beautiful brown woman that is potentially could be our president. And it's similar to, in some ways, Barack Obama, but I feel as it's different for the women. And it was just really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you think about kids who are in, like, junior high and high school right now. They've seen just as many candidates of color as they have candidates who are not of color.
Right.
That's crazy. Like, to think about when you and I were kids searching, I mean, Oprah,
No, right.
it was so poignant to see Oprah on stage because it's like, yeah, for a lot of us, like,
She was it.
Oprah was the Black person on TV. So
Right.
the idea that these kids having a Black president is like, "Oh, yeah, we've been there." It's doesn't seem crazy to them, is
Right.
just unbelievable.
Right.
And that's what people are afraid of, I'll tell you that right now. Like, people are that's the stat they do know, is they do know that stat about 2050 when this country is going to be more people of
Of
color
color.
and mixed
Mhm.
race. That's the number they're scared of because 'cause they're looking and going, "Oh my god." They're looking at Lil Jon, and they're looking at
You say looking at
people
us.
and they're looking at Flava Flav taking over the Olympics, and they're looking at Snoop, and they're looking at and they're like, what happened to the days where we could just give them BET and it was okay?
We're not just taking VAT. You know what? I will
Right.
say that is actually ultimately when we think about who we had to look up to, the Oprah. They were entertainers, and yeah, we had some politicians, but we didn't have somebody running
And
country
being taken seriously by
and being
people. I think
taken
that
seriously.
yeah, there were people who were running and we had mayors and things like that, but people who were really being taken seriously
Right,
by our generation, this is a different time. This is a different time, and that's the joy. That brings me so much joy.
right. Yeah, yeah. And so, but for that next generation, as they're coming up, they're gonna be thinking, "Hey, I can be the next president. I could be
Mhm.
this, I could be that."
Yep.
And that, you know, we're not just looking at magazines or
Mhm.
entertainers. And that's my
Right.
point about not needing Beyonce, because we don't need the Bayhive's coming from my neck. We don't need entertainers. Not that entertainers aren't important, but that's just not all we have anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, that is
That's
true.
my point. That is
But
my
also but also, we got I in the generations of people who vote, you got, like, 4 generations of people who vote. So you gotta do stuff that does appeal to every one of those generations, and what moves someone who's 75 and what moves someone who's 18 and voting for their first time are 2 very different things.
yes. That's
And I'm
very
talking
true.
about a whole lot of ladies in their 30s and 40s, self included, who who ride the wave of, "Yes, we don't need that anymore," but
You
also,
like it. You'd like
just
it. And
but
she
also
and what we appreciate is that she has come full 100% behind saying,
yeah,
"I support, Kamala Harris'
girl.
candidacy."
She showed more patriotism for the Olympians than anyone in the Republican Party. Were any of them even at the Olympics
I don't
talking about
even
patriotism? Stop. Like, what? Didn't even hear them talking about it. They were mad because there were so many black athletes. I need to preserve my black joy is what I'm gonna need to do, is what I'm doing.
well, and that's a good point. I think that everyone needs to it's gonna be a very stressful
And
74
Michelle
days.
Michelle warned you. She said it's not getting easier from here
No,
in her speech. She said it's not. She said, so buckle up
right,
because
but yeah, we need to find joy and laughter and all the fools that are making fun of our next president's laugh, they need to go to the side
oof, I
because
just wanna make that I wanna make that hurt. I wanna make their whole thing about making her laugh, like, hurt. I want that to come back and get them. Not a "We did it, Joe," but whatever her next thing is
no,
gonna
we
be,
did it, Joe. We
I
did
just
it.
need I just need her laugh on repeat to just, "Oh, I need a big laugh," and then we just
Mm-mm.
gotta run it on repeat.
Yeah, and we maybe we'll have a whole episode of laughing.
So, go talk about I think, we were talking about just kind of like this generation of kids who are so fortunate to been able to watch people experience black joy out loud and in the highest seats there are. As you think about reflect on your childhood, we talked a little bit about, like, Oprah was who we had, or entertainers, but when you can you think about and identify that moment of, like, black joy and black pride, like one of those first moments you had out probably with some people out, maybe it was your family, I guess, or outside of your family?
Yeah. I think that for me, there's not one moment. I think that for me, it was several moments throughout my life because in my household and in our family, there was just it was emphasized pride, making sure that you didn't allow outside And I guess I understand Kamala in some ways. You cannot allow the noise from outside to come in. You have to find joy and happiness within, and that is how I was raised, and that's how our household was, and there was always happiness and joy in my family.
Yeah, I mean, so I think I can reflect on a moment of, like, just, like, oof, probably black joy and a little bit of pain. I remember getting my hair braided when I was about 9 years old, and I remember sitting in the chair, and we were listening to TLC, What About Your
Okay.
Friends, on repeat, and I remember, and obviously the woman who's braiding my hair was black, and I don't know, it was something about, you're sitting there for so long, and it was just she and I, and my sister was there, and I just remember feeling so connected and so much pride, and I actually think it was the next day I had to go to school, and nobody's hair was braided. There weren't really any black kids in my school, maybe a handful, and I
Mm,
remember feeling it, like, stolen, and I suddenly was, like, embarrassed because everyone wanted to talk about my hair and what, and I think I remembered, like, the duality of that, of being so high and so prideful of something, and then going around a bunch of people who didn't understand it, and seeing how it could be, like, taken from you, right? And
yeah,
that joy. So that always sticks in my head as something, because I just remember being like, "God, all I needed was, like, TLC and a black woman's hands in my hair," and I felt so, so joyful.
I love that. That is good. The hair salon, the
Mhm,
spaces in which, I similar to you, what was in a school in which I was made fun of because of an accent that I had and my body shape because I was always a bit bigger. And I think that going back to the joy is just being in a household that I felt accepted. I felt
mhm.
loved. I go back to my grandmother just always reminding me that I was number 1 and that nobody should ever I know I shouldn't accept anything negative from anyone because I
Mm.
was and, she used to always say, "And nobody gonna love you like you gonna love yourself, so you better love yourself. And you better walk into that room with the knowledge that you are" and then go back to that you are the best.
She girl, your grandmother's, like, looking down like, "Woo, maybe I should have pulled back a little on that,
Yes.
cause she, cause she ain't never thought she wasn't the best. She ain't never walked in one room."
That's true, but,
She
think
did
about the
her
black
job. She did her
she
black
did her
job.
black job. She really did her black job, didn't she? But I think about all of there's been a lot of talk about how, um, uh, if it wasn't for Nancy or if it wasn't for this person, Kamala wouldn't have been Joe Biden wouldn't have stepped out, and it's just so lie because when you think about it was a black women that organized and, going back to them coming together and letting Biden know that we were not gonna take any other candidate, and that's why she was able to be where she is. And I say that as a point in which reminding all of us that Black women got it. Black women, I mean, what my grandmother said to me about how great and amazing I am and continue to believe that I am is what we always all should be thinking about ourselves.
Yeah,
Because
even in the face of when someone tells you it's not, I think that's, like, I think that the key to black joy and the beauty of it is feeling that around each other is amazing, but holding on to that in the face of
yes,
it, when everyone is telling you when everybody is telling you that's not the
right,
case, whether
right.
it's the media, whether it's an employer, whether it's just, random people on the street, like, whatever it is, holding holding tight to that joy. Like you
Yeah,
said, holding Kamala laughing and being like, "I'm sorry, I'm going to be big and bold in this laugh."
right. And I'm gonna
And
laugh
if you have
louder and I'm gonna laugh bigger.
and if you have a problem, deal with my sister, because you can see she's wild.
Because she's like
This
Solange in that elevator. She gonna come for your
girl,
neck.
because she could cut you, and we could
Yeah,
see Maya. When Maya went up there, I was like, "Oh, okay." And I had heard some stories, but,
that press was on. She
look,
had that like she would
I
come.
will tell
Go
you,
try it.
as a second child, I was loving it. I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's the energy. That's
That
that
Maya
Solange.
energy. You need
That's
that
that
Maya.
Maya Solange energy we need." I may get a little shirt that has something like that on it.
Maya Solange energy.
Uh-huh,
Um,
I got that second child
but
energy.
your point just is hits hard because in the face, and we all face this as Black women every day, all day. In the face of opposition, lack of support, and just disrespect,
Mm,
we still come.
still I rise. Oh,
Listen, we still I rise. And we still come with joy, and we will come with excellence because there is no other way for us to come.
there's no other option. There's
Right.
no other option. We don't
And
have the option. We don't have the option to be mediocre.
right, we don't have that gold escalator to take
Right.
us up to the top, as
Such
Michelle said.
girl.
But yeah, so for all of our listeners, think about whatever it is, on Monday when you go to work or whatever day you go to work and you're thinking about and someone disrespects or you're feeling certain things or certain ways, remember the joy. Remember that you in yourself have everything you need to be
Mm,
successful.
okay, that's a word. That's a word.
But yeah, so anyways, continue to like, share, subscribe, follow, v- and listen,
If you don't
vote
do
like your
anything,
life depended on it. Please.
like your life, and find everybody you know who lives in a state that is not yours, and make sure that they're voting too, and that they're telling their church to vote, and that they're coming and
Right,
talking to their neighbors and telling them to vote,
right.
and that they're demystifying Black people for people who may need that so they'll vote. We have some work to do. We may need to humble ourselves to get some of these people on our side, because you already heard she's polling at, like, what is it, like 98% with Black women. So this is not we are not the
Right,
problem
we're right, we're not right, but I think she's only polling, what, at 50% or for Black men?
with Black men. Okay. So find a Black man in your life and make
And
sure
bring him
he
and bring him and actually walk into no, I'm just joking. Don't walk Let's make sure you help them out.
yeah, no, we do not condone voter fraud.
We don't
Okay.
the hosts on the show do not condone anything that related.
Any fraud. We do not condone, yeah. But
But
yes,
yes,
we need to rally the troops. You are
rally the
not doing
troop.
your job if you are not having an uncomfortable conversation with someone, trying to get them over
Anyone,
to where we need
anyone.
them to go.
Right,
Right.
right, and be willing to have those uncomfortable conversations.
Hey, it's Jessica. Thanks for listening to Girl Call Me. If you have something to add or a story to share, come on over to Instagram or Facebook and join the conversation. Also, make sure you follow and subscribe Girl Call Me. You don't want to miss when we release new episodes. Thanks for listening.